The King's Queen by Zero Zocking Zin. Chapter 4. Levi's Point of View. It was snowing, but I knew that spring would finally roll in. It was a new year, and I had always prayed that things would be better for us. Yet the underground was never different. Everyone was surviving. It was our only choice. Big bro! I turned towards her voice, smiling as I did. Yet the smile didn't last. Instead of seeing Isabel smiling with Falcon on her side, I saw men behind them with swords aimed at their throats. No! I tried to help them. I didn't even know these people. They just came in and forced me to come with them. When I refused, they would take my friends hostage. Do everything I said, or I'll kill them. No! I screamed, sitting up in my bed, feeling my heart pound in my chest. I wheezed for breath, and my hand clutched my chest, right at the beginning of my heart. What the fuck was that? It looked like a dream, but it felt real, like I was there. I saw everything. I felt everything. I could smell everything. I could hear Isabel screaming, ringing through my ears. If this was a dream, why did it keep haunting me even after I woke up? Both of my hands covered my ears, and then after a minute, it was gone, like nothing happened. 3 knocks and 2 turns from the doorknob. I quickly composed myself before calling Hange in. Come in. Good morning. Hange came inside with a tray of breakfast in her hands, and that was enough to make me forget my dream. Breakfast in bed, served best for our queen. This is Hange. Is this what I really eat every day? I asked in awe as Hange placed the tray in front of me. Freshly baked bread with cheese and jam, then a large blueberry pancake. There was also a salad bowl and orange juice. All my worries were easily thrown away. Of course, you're the queen of Sina. You only deserve the best. The thought made me smile, but then I recalled my life in the underground. I hated the royal family or anyone who was rich, but now I'm one of them. I frowned at my food. Do I really deserve this? Hange claps her hands, grabbing my attention. I was planning on explaining everything to you afterwards, but since the king kept you busy for a week, I think we have to do this late. Hange shrugged as she pulled the board in front of the bed, showing each important topic that we needed to discuss. I didn't know how she got the board, but I didn't linger on it. No regrets? I smirked, taking a bite of the bread with cheese and jam. I moaned at the rich flavor touching my tongue. Fuck, this is life. But now that I thought about it, maybe I could help other people who lived in the underground. Maybe I had plans and duties already. Well, that sounded quite exciting. Okay, let's start off with the Kingdom of Shina. Hange started pointing at the map with her makeshift stick. Boring, I said flatly before I took a huge gulp of my orange juice. What better way to go with the meal with blueberry pancakes? It really felt like living a dream. During my time in the underground, only a few merchants would sell fruits, and it would take a lot of effort to steal them. Those merchants would go to great lengths to protect their precious goods. If only I had Isabel and Falcon to share this with. That would be fantastic. Though I don't need to know about the Shina anymore, I lived in the streets of it. I knew more routes than anyone else. Levi, she warned, you have to know these things. Okay, question. What is the king's race? Race? I raised my brow at her. The king has a race? Titan. Aaron is pure Titan. Oh, no wonder he was a beast in bed. I couldn't help but smirk. Levi, concentrate. Hansi stomped her foot in frustration. I know Titans. They are a superior race. Most of their offsprings are alpha, rarely omegas. They had the ability to turn into giants that were ideal for war. The magic was also powerful. It helped their transformation and healing. All I knew was that the late kings were Titans. It was much better that way. A king who was always on top shape and healed easily was ideal for the throne than a sick king who could lead them to doom of the kingdom. Good. And what is your race? Hansi chilled before pointing the master stick at me. I have a race? Well, duh. You're the queen for a reason. human? Wrong, Hanji announced, slapping the stick onto the end of the bed. You're a fairy! What? I almost dropped my spoon. How, for all of my life, I thought I was a human, but a fairy? Yes, that's the reason why you are very suitable for the throne. You are a pure fairy, Levi. Notice why you're so quick and agile? This is one of the specialties of a fairy. Where are my fucking wings then? Fairies do have wings, right? Can I fly as well? Your wings will appear if you concentrate enough and muster up the magic that you had. Though it is not for flying, since your wings are huge and heavy with all the beads and gold accents. You've seen my wings then? Of course, they're so beautiful, Hanji squealed. You had them out during your wedding day until the end of the ceremony. It was huge, acting like a cape behind you. Then what is the use of them if I can't use them to fly? The purpose is to attract your mate. That's it? Well, yeah. Finding the right mate can benefit the offsprings. Raphael is the perfect example. A young prince carrying a Titan and fairy's bloodline, since you and Aaron are pure blood. The prince's lifespan is much longer, and he developed quicker than normal kids. Wait, how old is he? My mind immediately calculated the years. Aaron and I were married for 2 years, which means that I had conceived Raphael on our wedding night then. Only a year old, but don't worry. He is a very advanced compared to other kids. He looks and acts like a 5-year-old. And he's in school? I asked, feeling my blood start to boil. Well, yes, he's the crown prince. That's not a fucking excuse. I slammed my fist on the tray, causing the contents to quake. He's still a baby. How can you put him in school? Levi, he's a hybrid race. His age does not justify his mental and physical state. Hanji held up both hands and backed away from me. Does he have a schedule every day? Well, yes, give it to me, I demand. I'll see to it. Hanji quickly went to get it. After a few minutes, the schedule was in my hands, and I had the urge to rip it apart. This was unfair. How could my son have one break in every class and chores? He's only a baby. Even if he was more advanced than other kids, he still needs to experience playing, climbing trees, and not worrying about freaking war tactics. Who made this schedule? I asked. My hand started shaking, ready to punch whoever made it. My little boy do all these things every day. The king, Hanji hesitated. But Raphael agreed to it. Of course he'll fucking agree to it. He's still a baby, I shouted. Fuck the king. Bring Raphael to me. Oh, about that. Hanji nervously laughed. We shouldn't disturb the prince while he's in class. I don't care. Just bring him to me. I boomed, and immediately Hanji dashed out of the room. Leaning back on my pillows, I asked myself why I was even allowed such things to happen to my son before. As the clock ticks, my patience was running thin. If they refuse to let me go to my son, I'll never hesitate to rip them into pieces. Your Majesty, I present you the crown prince, Hanji announced in the moment she opened the door. My eyes went wide and my heart skipped as a very small boy entered the room, head up proud, but his beautiful merchant's eyes were glued to the floor. His left eye was green with a swirl of gold, while his other one was cobalt blue like mine. His hair was jet black and his skin was as white as snow. He dipped in a bow. Mother? I almost cried. This is my boy, my baby. Instead, I smiled and opened my arms. Come here, baby. He looked up at Hanji uncertain. When he saw my servant just smile and nod at him, he slowly made his way towards me. When he was at my arm's length, I noticed he was shaking. Oh, baby, I called as I scooped him up until he was sitting on my lap in bed. I felt him tense at my touch, and he seemed confused by my actions. Sighing, I ran my fingers on his raven hair. Don't worry, no one will hurt you when I'm here, I reassured. He was so small and fair-looking. I could feel the guilt hitting me hard now that I had him in my arms. Why did I let him go through such a schedule? Why am I not feeding him well? What is wrong with me? Before I lost my memory, I kept running my hands through his hair until I felt him leaning back, all his weight on me. Finally, he relaxed. You woke up early today? He let out a sound that I could only name adorable. God, I want to squeeze him. Starting from now on, I leaned down, kissing his cheek. I could sense his confusion, but he remained relaxed. No more classes and schedules. Only until you're older. For now, just sleep. With my free hand, I worked on removing his adorable shoes and loosening his clothes. He looked up at me with those beautiful mismatched eyes, and I couldn't help but smile. I kept running my hand through his hair until he was fast asleep. Hange? I called out before she left the room. Yes? She smiled at me. Whoever tries to hurt my baby, I'll swear I'll rip their heads off their necks. This is my word. Hange's smile only grew wider. Excellent, Your Majesty. Aaron's point of view. The crown prince is missing, John announced, and I was out of my office in a split second, with John trailing behind me. How did this happen? I demand, anger boiling in my blood. My king, the prince was on his way to his next class, but he didn't show up. I tried looking for him with his teachers, but we weren't able to find him. Sean supplied. His panic was evident in his voice. Close the palace. Nobody will be able to come in or out. Search every corner. Turn this palace upside down if you must. I boom at all the soldiers and servants. I grit my teeth in rage. If anyone dares hurt Raphael, I will make sure to rip their heads off their necks. End of chapter 4.